Welcome to the Panic Podcast with Faith Lozon-Collins.
And Cameron Chappis.
This is the podcast by anxieters for anxieters. Today's topic is obsessive-compulsive disorder. So, let's get into it.
So, before we get into our main topic today, we thought it would be a good idea to share some experiences that we've had throughout the week. Maybe have a little
Panic rant!
Yeah.
Do you want to go first, Cameron?
Sure.
How's your
totally.
week?
Well,
How has your, let's say, past 2 weeks been?
Well, I mean, the thing about the past 2 weeks, we're in film production, right?
Yes.
And I'm the director. So I'm always pushing to kind of get things done as soon as possible or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The past couple weeks, my production has been pushed and pushed and pushed, back every week, right?
Mm-hmm.
It always seems like I'm about to finally get this done, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh, we forgot this. Oh, we don't have this for tomorrow. I was really nervous. Like, there's this huge build-up to this, right? I mean, we just filmed today, but the build-up, the anticipation was killing me.
Patient.
Yeah. it was just ripping me to shreds. So, I mean, for me to present myself as that kind of, like, I don't want to show that, because then everyone's gonna, everyone's kind of looking to me, right, for direction.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, it would be like last minute stuff. And that's one of the main
Anxieters
reasons.
love last minute things.
No, we don't. That's a lie. We hate it. We hate last minute things. It's the worst. And so it's like, my producer's like, no.
How is this taking a toll on you physically?
Well, I'm glad you brought it up. It's really been taking a toll on my body. I've been getting a lot of like chest pains and just a tight chest, and like I get like I feel like I'm gonna pass out sometimes, and just out of nowhere, and it's like that there's something just looming in the back of my mind all the time, and it's been
not fun.
Yeah, it's not fun at all. So yeah, that's kind of where that's how my last couple of weeks.
I mean, I know all about that chest tightening thing. I started getting that in high school.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like someone's squeezing on my heart or something. And I used to have to, I was rubbing my chest. Yeah. I would be constantly rubbing my chest in class. And then I had to, start getting heart condition tests and EKGs and all that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And they didn't really find anything wrong with my heart. Because I don't think it was, a heart condition. I think it was just a panic attack or anxiety side effect.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel you, man.
Yeah.
I feel you right in the chest.
Yeah.
I'm touching your heart right now.
About that, or on that topic, this past week, because I've been having these physical conditions or whatever,
mm-hmm.
I've gone and done blood tests. And one of my biggest phobias is seeing my own blood. And this is weird. Medical terminology.
Really?
Medical terminology frightens me so much. It scares the shit out of me.
You gotta push a 15 BP of epi.
Don't even.
1040 over 20.
Stop.
I don't know. I'm just naming fractions now.
Just kind of hearing it,
wow.
I guess the way I see it is if someone's speaking it in a way that I don't fully understand about me, it feels like there's something wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
but you're not telling it to me in a way that I understand fully.
Right.
So it's like, you may be telling me exactly what's wrong with me, but...
There's something wrong with the left phalange.
Yeah, it's like, great.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds bad.
Yeah, and actually talking to a doctor makes me anxious and makes me lightheaded and makes me feel like I'm going to pass out, as well as drawing blood. So I went and they took my blood, and literally I was lying down shaking for about 15 minutes.
That's brutal.
Yeah, and the time before that, I completely passed out for like 10 minutes. It was a complete blackout. Just the fear of it. Yeah, so on top of everything, it's like, okay, well, there might be something wrong with you because of all this anxiety. Let's go take you for a test that'll give you even more anxiety.
There's nothing I hate worse than already having this anxiety and this physical stuff. And then all of a sudden you have this new anxiety of like, now I need to go to the doctor. Now I need to get tests. Like, this is adding on to a to-do list that you already are exceeding.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I know I have to make a doctor's appointment because I'm going to run out of refills on my medication and my doctor's out of town. So I've been meaning to. And it's just giving me anxiety just going to make the appointment. And then I have to think about the idea of going into town. It's going to be on this day. Am I going to be able to afford... Like, all of a sudden, there's all this stuff, and I just needed to call the doctor and make an appointment.
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet. Well, I, too, directed a film within the past couple weeks.
How'd that go?
It was really good.
Good.
I'm not going to lie.
Awesome.
Everybody was on task and passionate, but it was very stressful, obviously, as a director. I had 9 cast members for this short film. And we were filming in this little apartment, and it's hard when you have, I think the most we had on set at one point was like 15 people in total. Just a lot of, there's wires and there's cameras, and then there's people that are in the crew asking about, they're coming to you. They're saying, what do we have to do for this lighting? What do we have to do for this? Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm trying to go to my actors and talk to them one-on-one because I had to teach sign language to some of my actors. The first day I was in a panic, just confused. You get confused.
Yeah, like it's overwhelming.
The second day, it was like peak of the day, and I was like shortness of breath, walking around now, and I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing anymore. And I'm walking, and I'm going back and forth, and I'm pacing, and I'm like heavily breathing, and my assistant director's just like, are you okay? And I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, you're supposed to, right? And then I'm just like, where's my script? This is the wrong script. Where's my shot list? And I just like can't spit things out. And then people are asking me questions about like, is this hair okay? And I'm like, it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. I don't know. And like the lighting stuff, I don't know too much about lighting, but they're like, this is this. And then, just really stressful. It's a learning experience for sure. I also, because of the panicking, my asthma has been really bad these past couple weeks. I'm not saying it's entirely from that, but it's not helping to have like mini panic attacks. Then all of a sudden I'm whipping out my inhaler. I'm getting like, just these past couple weeks I've been more reliant on it. I don't like that. I was just at home yesterday with a friend, and we were just standing there, and all of a sudden I was hit with it and was having trouble like breathing shallow breaths, and I wasn't even doing any activity. It was just like my mind started racing, and then all of a sudden my body was following what my mind was thinking physically.
That's so weird about the physical symptoms of anxiety is it doesn't have to be during the moment. It could just be out of nowhere. It could just creep right behind you. Like when I had the huge panic attack, I was with you and the other guys, and it like we were literally just talking and whatever, right? And all of a sudden, like I feel this tingling like in the tips of my fingers, and my chest is extremely tight, and like what's going on here, you know, like. But as stated before,
let us get on to today's topic, which is a stem of anxiety that a plethora of people have. It is obsessive compulsive disorder.
Yeah, and I have a couple of definitions here. Two from psychologytoday.com.
Define it to me, Cameron.
I will. Obsessive compulsive disorder is an anxiety disorder in which people have unwanted and repeated thoughts, feelings, ideas, sensations, or behaviors that make them feel driven to do something. That's sort of the general description. But then it goes on to say, a person's level of OCD can be anywhere from mild to severe, but if severe and left untreated, it can destroy a person's capacity to function at work, at school, or even to lead a comfortable existence in the home.
Whew! They swung in the destroyer word, didn't they?
Yeah. And you've obviously dealt with obsessive compulsive disorder.
Yes, I have.
How do you feel about that statement? Do you think there's truth to that? Do you think it's all of truth? Or do you think...
I think some people have little compulsions, and some people it controls their life. It controls their choices, what they do. I kind of didn't like the word destroy, but it can severely affect your everyday lifestyle in a negative way. You are overwhelmed with giving in to these compulsions that just normal everyday activities that other people have an easier time doing. All of a sudden, it becomes you treading through quicksand when everybody else is just skipping on the ground, you know?
Yeah.
Even just a simple thing.
Yeah. And we have another definition here, and this one's, it's sort of along those lines, and I want to know what you think about this.
Okay.
OCD is a mental illness resulting in persistent illogical fears and ideas, and often particular habits created and followed out so as to avoid the fears and anxiety they cause.
That definition pretty much links to why we're doing this on an anxiety panic podcast show, right? They say it's a mental illness. We've discussed anxiety and social anxiety as mental illnesses. So I think this is in the same club. If we were all sitting around in a therapy group, you know, we would have these obsessive compulsive people, these social anxious people, depressed, and I'm sure all of us have multiple versions of them within them. Yeah, it's illogical fears, it's compulsions of repetition, and it's potentially harmful.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. Illogical fears. That's kind of hard to... That statement is a little hard to present to someone who has illogical fears.
Right.
Because to them it is logical.
Yes. So when I go to sleep, I never expose my wrists. I cover it with a sheet or something because I have an illogical fear that somebody's going to slit my wrists.
That's
as if the blanket's going to stop that from happening.
Yeah.
As if a murderer was going to come in and be like, oh, I'm going to cut her arm. And then he's like, ooh, wait, there's a blanket there. I'm done. And I cover my ear with my exposed ear in bed with hair slightly because I'm scared someone's going to put poison in it. And it's like, oh, that makes sense because if the poisoner came in, he was like, oh, I was going to put some poison down there, but whoa. Her hair is in the way. Like, that's a sort of, like, illogical thinking.
Yeah, and I have something similar. Like, I'll roll from side to side in my bed falling asleep just because I have this weird, quote-unquote, illogical fear where, like, if I sleep on one side for too long, then my heart will, like, rest funny and then will be, like, screwed up the next day and be weird. So like I'll make sure that each side of my body, my left and right side, has
balanced out.
Yeah, has equal amount of time lying on the bed, and I just kind of.
That's got to be a nuisance.
Oh my god, it's kept me up like for a whole night once, and it's really annoying, but I can't get away from it because I keep thinking, in the back of my head that this might happen.
And like you said, it's not illogical to us when we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
It almost seems illogical when we're telling somebody else. We're like,
yeah, I know,
well,
we're saying it as like statements. Like,
when we're there, we're like, oh, this reasoning makes sense.
Yeah. And it's like, well, that's just normal for me to do that. And then whoever's listening, it's like, that's not really normal.
And, yeah, it just makes sense in your head. Like, I was talking about OCD with my mother and grandmother, and my mother has OCD, and I didn't even know that my grandmother had compulsions or anything. And she said she thinks constantly of people's names and their numbers contributing to their names. And she said, oh, Faith, you're a 9, and Annie is a 5, and I'm a 13. And I was like, so are you connecting the letters per number? Like A is 1 and B is 2. And she's like, no. Like, all of the letters are... I can't remember it exactly, but she's like, all of the letters are 2 points except for J, H, Q, Z, Y, and this, and they all equal 3. And this letter equals 1. And I was, it's from nowhere. Like, she didn't get this from anything. And she says apparently that this has been in her life for years and years and years, and she just knows it as these points. And so when she meets people, or even us in the house all the time, she thinks about our numbers. She counts the numbers in our letters and our names equal a certain number, and she has to go over it and make sure that she's correct and think about it and say them out loud. And she meets people and thinks about their numbers. And
that's really interesting, because there was actually a part of my life where I kind of had a similar thing, except it was like I would just see someone, and then they would just, in my mind, they would just represent a number. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it recently. I haven't thought in that way for a while, but like I would look at someone, it's like 24. Like just the facial structures and the way. Whatever.
And this is not like looking at some hot chicken, like, yeah, she's a 10.
No, it's not like that. It's like, that's them. And then, it would be every single person that I would meet. It's like, okay, well, why am I doing that?
Were you a number? Did you have a number for yourself?
I was, I think, 55.
Interesting.
Let's... Like, I'd say you're like a 19.
Oh.
You're like 19.
Interesting.
Yeah. Just...
And see, because of, like, my obsession with even numbers, I'm like, oh, 19!
Yeah.
Oh my god! That's a prime number too, isn't it?
A prime number?
Yeah.
What do you mean prime number? Sorry.
Like, it can't be divided by...
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
Like...
I don't remember what the prime number means. I think it's... Anyways, we're not mathematicians.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Oh my god.
We're
Ew. 19. I can't do it. Yeah. I can't.
One last thing about OCD.
Yeah.
The little obsessions, like the little things. It's taking my mind off of the big things for a little second. And yeah.
I don't think I said this in the mini episode. Go check it out. But I think that these little compulsions are not dangerous. And if we have to do that to feel good mentally for a moment or the day, then, so be it. Many people have these compulsions. And the only thing I think about is I have nothing but sympathy for those people where it's activities that ruin their days instead of little ones that help make it better. When people have compulsions so bad that it takes them 2 hours just to get out of the house because of all of the routines they have to go through, and turning appliances and lights on and off, and being out and then realizing, I think I locked the back door, but I don't know if I did. And then maybe they're leaving, I don't know, a big important moment in their life, or a graduation or an exam, because they have to go back to that house and make sure that that door is locked. Like that stuff is real.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of thing that can, as the definition said, I guess, destroy lives. It's certainly a nuisance. I'm sure it's not welcomed all the time. So, I mean, we, both of us don't have those a strong or severe case of OCD. But yeah, my heart goes out to those people, and listeners, we'd love to hear your conversation about this topic, just so we can all talk about it, because that's what we're here for. We want people to be able to talk about these things that are sort of taboo, you know, so. There you go.
Yeah, all right, awesome. On that note, it's time for everyone's favorite part of the show, the method busting segment.
Woo!
So, this past week, in order to deal with her stress, Faith Lozon Collins took part in a daily exercise routine.
Yeah.
To see if exercise really is a cure for stress.
Exercise loosens up the body, you know, because we can get stiff joints and tingling and all sorts of things from our anxiety and our panic attacks. So loosen up the muscles, and then it's supposed to, you know, you're fit, and being active like that, science says, you know, it'll give you endorphins and it makes you feel better. Like, it could change, it has the ability to change your mood.
If you were to sit down all day, there's not much blood flow going on, you know, going all the way to the top of your head, down to your toes. When you're exercising, it improves the blood circulation, and so those nutritions and those minerals and stuff that you get from your food are sort of brought through your body and bringing that nutrition to your body and the places that need it. So, without further ado, bring us to the first day. How did the first day go?
Okay, so Cameron's general week for me was a 10 to 20 minute walk or jog every day, and then with each succeeding day he added a couple little exercises that you can do at home, like push-ups and sit-ups and things like that. So I decided to get a little creative with some of my days to try different types of working out. So Sunday, it was raining. I couldn't really do anything outside, but I went for a 15-minute walk in between rainfalls. I was like, oh, it stopped raining, so I'm gonna go out and go for a walk. And I was with someone. I know, usually if I'm like down in the dumps or panicking and stuff, I'll go for a walk, but it won't necessarily help. I'll just be stuck in my head. So partnering up was a good thing. That's what I got to say about that. And I mean, I was just walking though. I wasn't jogging or anything. So it was fine. And Monday, you had me do some push-ups first, which I cannot do. Did you try? I tried. I feel so weak. I was like, this is horrible. I can't even do a push-up. But I tried, and that's the point. It was raining again, but I did something inside this time. Everyone's favorite workout buddy, Richard Simmons. I don't know if you've ever danced or worked out to a Richard Simmons tape.
I have not.
Oh, I highly suggest it.
It's on my bucket list.
Yeah. My favorite, I've done this before because I love Richard Simmons workout tapes. My favorite is Dance Your Pants Off. That's great. This time I did Sweatin' to the Oldies. The nice thing about Richard Simmons, and I'm going to point this out, is that his workouts back in the day, they're not severe in difficulty. They are not very hard. And he also does it to really fun 80s dance music. And his energy is really great. He basically started this for people that were overly obese just to be able to get up out of their chairs and move their bodies a little bit. So that's why they're not too complicated, is because it was this like beginning sort of steps to people who were obese that wanted to lose weight. So that's what I love so much about him. And also for me, who can't do the push-ups, I'm like, yeah, I'll do these like easy dance moves. And even though they're easy, I'm still dancing for an hour with Richard Simmons, and we're moving the whole time, even if some of the moves are just like, you know, jumping up in starfish form and like jazz hands. So many jazz hands. What I actually did to add a fun spin on this, because I've danced to Richard Simmons before, I muted him, and then I put on present hip-hop and dance music. So I was like doing these jazz hands and then listening to Lil Jon's Get Low. Oh. It was so much fun. It was really fun. I also used to, in high school, after school, I would bring workout tapes to my friends' houses, and we would do it as a group. Not because we were all like, let's get in shape. It was because it was so much fun. And the energy that Richard Simmons has in particular, it just makes you laugh. And laughing works your abs. So there you go.
Yeah. Laughing is exercise, everyone.
Yeah, so I loved it. You can find it on YouTube. I have a VHS tape that
What was it again?
I like Dance Your Pants Off, but I did Richard Simmons' Sweatin' to the Oldies. There's a couple versions of it. Yeah, so go check it out if you're into that. Problem was, almost immediately following, and I was in a good mood that whole time, almost immediately following, I had a panic attack.
Really?
Yes. And someone was in the house with me, and she was watching me do the dance and having fun, and then it stopped. And then I thought, oh my God, I have this huge, massive list of things I need to do, and I wasn't paying attention.
Oh my gosh.
And I freaked out. I was running around the house. I was not being able to breathe. I was trying to write lists, and I can't find my other list, and I'm going online, and I'm thinking about deadlines and looking for deadlines, and the person in my house was like, what can I do? Can I do this? Can I do this? And I'm like, I don't know, because I can't focus. It was so frustrating. I was even mad later on. I was like, wow, I was having such a good time. And it kind of reminded me of what you said about meditation being a Band-Aid.
I was about to say that sounds very familiar.
Yes. So that's sort of what happened.
Are we seeing a pattern here?
Maybe.
Of course, it is only Monday, so.
That's true.
Bring us to Tuesday, Faith.
Okay, oh yeah, and I'm still going on these walks. And honestly, I really wanted to try and go on a jog. I wanted to.
Cool.
But I didn't. I had every intention to do it, and then I was making a movie for 3 days of this week. 3 of my days were completely full. So I just managed to fit everything, all those little exercises in a magazine at the end of the day when I got home. Some magazines have like
I was like, oh God,
body
I forgot.
sections. Show you different.
So Tuesday,
exercises that you can do.
Not to
So I did this
Richard
magazine
Simmons
Dance Your Pants Off or
workout
anything.
regime.
I just
that
put
they
on
had.
my
I was
Super Cool
tired
Party
by the
People
end.
playlist. The exercises were fine, and once
went around my
I
house and,
sort
like,
of
danced hardcore,
memorized the moves
I loved
instead of
doing
having
that.
to look at this
Like,
magazine,
and I do it enough
to get
I put on
like a good
television,
television, and I was like watching a show as I was
so
doing
that,
these reps
like
and
I
counting.
said, the dancing,
So that was nice because I felt like I was
okay.
multitasking even though I was just watching television.
Wednesday,
I still like
all of a
multitasking even if it's just
with
hobbies.
these additional things, I was
doing
push-ups and sit-ups.
So I liked
and
doing that
walking.
because I wasn't really paying attention.
The usual.
I don't know if you've ever
It was okay.
done this before, but you can find them
Thursday.
online, and they're TV workouts for different shows. Yeah, I've done a couple of them.
You mean like a Game of Thrones exercise and a
Yeah, okay. So like for the sitcom Friends or something, it's like do 10 jumping jacks every time Phoebe sings.
Oh, okay, I see.
Or yeah, do 10 push-ups every time Ross mentions dinosaurs. Or, or every time someone takes a drink of coffee, you have to do a lap around your living room.
Yeah, okay.
And then during commercials, you like run in the spot. So those are really cool. So pick your favorite show. I almost guarantee that there will be a TV workout online that someone has created for that show, or you make one yourself. That's fun. I like mixing. I've learned that I like more of the fun exercises instead of going to the gym. I did not go to the gym in the week. I planned to. Again, I was too busy. I was too anxious. And honestly, going to the gym is an anxious thing. Going and seeing all these fit people for someone that isn't fit, and being self-conscious about how much weight you're putting on an exercise machine. Like, say, people will leave the pins in at like 100 pounds just to show off. And then I'm like, well, I'm going to take this pin out and put it up to 15. And I'm like struggling. So I'm not sure how it would have went. I probably will try, see how it goes. But I was so busy. And that's a problem that I have with the exercise thing. You have to make time. On the Friday, I was really sore from the magazine workout, which is weird because I thought it was just like easy little exercises. The next day, I was like, oh my God, why am I so sore? Oh yeah, I did these little workouts. My body's just not used to it. So that was not fun. And I took my entire day on set as my walk.
That counts.
Right?
I'll tell you what, because earlier I was saying, I've been standing all day today, actually.
Yes.
And it counts.
And for my set in particular, we were using an empty apartment, so I had to move in everything for an apartment just to do my film. So it was back and forth and lifting, and I agree, it counts. It's fine.
You're off the hook there for...
And Saturday...
the last day?
Yeah, the last day. During the night that night, I had little sleep. I had like 3 hours of sleep because of being on set. And, I had no intention of doing any of these. I did them. I walked. Like I said, I had an intention of jogging, but like it was too exhausting for me. I don't know. I have asthma too. It probably wouldn't have went well.
Right.
So I did the week. Probably not. I should have done a little more, I think, just to get the whole feeling. I do know now that there's so many different ways to exercise that it's about finding the one that you enjoy. I feel like most people say that you should also be eating healthy while you exercise, because healthy eating will also change the way your body feels. I'm a chocolate addict, so was I eating perfectly healthy this week? Maybe not. So maybe I would try that with the exercising.
Interesting.
I really like doing the fun exercising stuff with people. That makes it fun. It's a good time. You laugh. You're still with people. That's filling my social quota like I want to. But also, sort of like you, with kind of felt like a Band-Aid sometimes. And doing the, run along the river or going to the gym takes planning and takes time and chunks out of our lives. That just makes me panic. So, to each their own, I guess. I think exercise is probably good. Even just a little bit, like when you get up in the morning, jump around, do some exercises, put on music and dance around while you're having breakfast and making coffee and stuff. I love to dance in my house naked. I condone it. Everybody, go take your clothes off, go to your house.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, put on the Temptations and dance naked. It'll free your mind.
And your body.
Yeah. And, put the blinds down.
You heard it first on the Panic Podcast. Dance naked in your house.
Please do it. And please comment on our page and let us know how your
went.
dancing naked went.
Yeah.
Send us some photos.
Well, maybe you can hold on to the photos. In terms of your stress levels and your anxiety levels.
Yeah.
In comparing the beginning of the week to the end of the week, do you think there was any major difference?
The soreness hit, which wasn't nice, but I feel like a couple days after that soreness goes away, it's a good feeling. I know people get those like sprigs of euphoria when all of a sudden you feel a new muscle forming. Mm-hmm. That's actually exciting. You're actually like, whoa. Mm-hmm. And looking in the mirror, and maybe you didn't even lose any weight, but you feel like you have because you've exercised. Your mind will look in the mirror and be happy at what it sees. Sometimes, I don't know if that makes sense. But it's all about like feeling like you did something. Mm-hmm. So
it's like a reward system almost, like.
Yeah. Like, obviously doing all this stuff, I did not get out of my exercise and go, that sucked, I'm so mad. Like, it wasn't a bad thing after I had done it. Yeah, there's nothing like a good sweat. Mm-hmm. And then a cold shower. Like I said, I loved dancing to Richard Simmons and doing those exercises. But it felt like a temporary thing. Mm-hmm. It didn't change my entire day. It changed that hour.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Maybe I danced the panic that was everything before that. Like, maybe I was panicked all day and it had been piling up, and then I did the dance and it almost like flushed the toilet of the panicking. There was still like new panic right after, but maybe that panic would have been worse if I didn't dance. Who knows? Maybe.
So would you recommend this? Would you recommend daily exercise to someone who deals with anxiety?
Yeah, okay. I suggest finding a pattern of exercise that you enjoy personally and maybe trying to make it a habit. I think repetition is probably key to this. Even if it's something long, like going for a long run, or something really short, like waking up and doing some jumping jacks and listening to one song and just dancing to that one song. Or like skipping rope, or going on a swing set and feeling nostalgic.
Mm-hmm. So just as long as you're moving around in that.
Yeah, you gotta keep your muscles loose because anxiety just tenses everything up, you know? There's such thing as heart health, and so even though I can't really do hard cardio because of my asthma, just like you're having trouble with your heart right now, and I was having trouble with my heart, we still have to make sure that we're exercising that just so that we don't end up with a condition, you know? Yeah. And I think exercise can possibly help with some of our illnesses that stem from our anxiety.
Alrighty.
There you go. Method busted. But I walked to get here, so it's fine.
Yeah, that burns off the whole gallon of ice cream, for sure.
Actually, Cameron and I have been running on the spot this whole time.
Yeah, you didn't hear the footsteps the whole time?
That's how good we are.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
Alright, I think we're gonna run right out of here now.
Yep, this is Cameron Chappis.
And Faith Lozon Collins.
You're listening to the Panic Podcast.
Inhale, exhale, and panic. Whew! You're welcome.
It's for the podcast.
I'm gonna go eat a gallon of ice cream now.
Awesome. I think I will too, actually.
Well, I already did today, so...
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I did. I actually ran out of Haagen-Dazs, so then I switched to another ice cream carton. That's what I did. But I walked to get here, so it's fine.
Yeah, that burns off the whole gallon of ice cream, for sure.
Actually, Cameron and I have been running on the spot this whole time.
Yeah, you didn't hear the footsteps the whole time?
That's how good we are.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
Alright, I think we're gonna I think we're gonna run right out of here now.
Yep, this is Cameron Chappis.
And Faith Lozon Collins.
You're listening to the Panic Podcast.
Inhale, exhale, and panic.